So it's snowing. That's no relevance to the video about to see.
No, ignore the snow. We just finished filming. I was going to say we're just about to, but no, we just finished filming. Like an interview kind of thing, like more of like a sort of Q&A kind of thing.
Yes. Friendly chat with our mate Richard Cooper from Entrepreneurs in Cars.
Entrepreneurs in Cars, good YouTube channel. Go check them out. Like if you like our videos for the sort of business aspect, even though we kind of fail at doing that most of the time, go check out his channel because it's really good. I really like what he's doing.
Yep.
It's similar kind of mindset to what we started out with, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's got some really cool cars on the 12C, a nice supercharged M3.
Yeah, he's got an M3 convertible.
Yeah, so and he's basically talking to the people who own the cars, and finding out what they've done for their businesses and how they've been financially successful to buy these cars. So similar to what we started out doing. And
he reached out the other day and said, would you do like a bit of a Q&A with us? And he was going to ask a few questions about the YouTube channel and business and cars, and it was good fun. It
was good. Yeah, it went better than we thought. We thought we'd probably completely balls it up. We'd be like, I can't upload this. But I think he was happy enough with it. But yeah, he seemed like a real nice guy. So he's going to post it on his channel, and we're posting it now on our channel. So yeah, enjoy.
All right, hey guys, what is up? It's Rich Cooper. I'm on a Skype call right now. I'm blessed to be on with Simon and Chris from Dedication Blog. I just wanted to reach out to these guys. This is actually the first time we've ever chatted. I shot them a message on Facebook because I've seen a few of the videos on the channel, and a lot of the stuff they were talking about really resonated with me and my business and just cars in general and entrepreneurship. So I wanted to see if we could have a conversation about those sorts of things to kind of dive deeper into what you guys are all about in your channel. So without blabbing on too long, why don't we kind of like warm up and talk a little about cars and rap about that for a little bit. So Chris, Simon, talk to me about what was your like dream car when you were a kid. Like for me, I'll give you an example. I had that Lamborghini poster. Now I'm 40 years old. I'm a little bit older than you guys. You probably may or may not remember it, but there was a white Lamborghini Countach with Pirelli tires, and it had the nice Pirelli logo on the bottom, right? And that was like my dream car on the wall. So talk off to that for me. Like what was it? I mean, you're obviously petrol heads. What was it that got you excited when you guys were kids?
I remember the first time, it's probably like 15, and we started in the village, and a Ferrari 360 come past us, red. And it probably wasn't in view for more than 20 seconds, and that was it. Like I saw it, hit it, and from that moment, I was like, I need one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been a big Ferrari fan, haven't you?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it come from that. And
yeah. I mean, Lamborghinis, like you say, have always been like kind of the best looking car, like poster cars, like you say. Later, it kind of changed to being the R8, and that was kind of what I was always talking about for years. Like, one day I want to get an R8. That was always the dream car. I mean, that wasn't from like a really young age though. I only really got into cars when I was probably 18, 19 really. Like before that, I was not really I'd never really thought about exotic cars and things that much.
Okay.
But just kind of as I got a bit older, just started to be more and more interested in them.
You've had a few cars now. Like I've watched a few videos on your channel, and
too many.
I'm going to try to go off memory. You can probably fill in the gaps and correct me where I'm wrong. I know there's been a motorcycle or two. You've got a GT86 now. I've seen two R8s, a couple of M3s, M235i, a European hot hatch. What was that, a Peugeot?
A Seat Leon Cupra.
Okay. Yeah. Did I miss anything?
Lotus Elise.
Lotus Elise. And that was, and I think the channel started 2 years ago. Was it March 2013?
Yeah.
So it's like 5 or 6 cars in 2 years.
Most of them have been in the last year. It's been.
Yeah. And in that time I had 2.
Yeah.
I had 2 in that time.
And I've had my current M3 since 2010 for 5 years now.
So you're going pretty well then.
So. Yeah. So talk to me about like the switch with all the cars. Like, what's going through your mind when you're going through all these cars? Thinking, oh, that's a good idea. I'll go to the dealership and get another one.
You're out of time for this.
Yeah. We only budgeted half an hour. No, it's kind of just like not buying things like on a whim, but it's like I'll get like an idea in my head, like I want a track car, and then I'll look into it and I'll be like, well, everyone says the best track car is like a Lotus Elise. So it seems perfect for what I want. I'll do a load of research on it. I'll kind of get my mind set on that's what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
I'll test drive it, I'll be like, yeah, it's fine, I'll buy it. And then, a few months later, I'll be a bit, not bored of it, but I'll just be like, well, I've kind of done that now. Like, I've done loads of track days, I've kind of, I've done all the tracks around here several times.
Yeah.
well, you know, there's no point just sitting on my driveway, so sell it, buy something else. And then it just kind of, yeah, just, it's basically a lot of bad decisions, really. Basically just like buying cars and then going, that wasn't really a good idea. And instead of just keeping it and, you know, thinking, I don't want to look stupid and sell it and lose a load of money, I'd rather just sell it, admit that I've made a mistake, and then buy something else that I'm happy with. And I was thinking the other day, is right now, the cars that I've got, the GTA 6, the M235i, and the R8, I'm really happy with all three of those. So, like, I'm in no rush to sell any of them or anything. So I think I've finally got to a point where I'm going to stick with these cars for a long time. So it's just kind of just trial and error, I guess, just going through different cars, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like. And
then what about you, Simon?
Yeah, I had the Hyundai Coupe for 4 years or something.
you love that thing, didn't you?
I know. Same with
crashes
your
it.
Bath now is like I get a car. I always wanted the coupe and I finally bought it and like, I loved it and that was it. I didn't really feel the need to change particularly.
Yeah.
And yeah, now with the Bath, like when I first got it, I was sad to see the coupe go, but now I just, absolutely love it. It's probably not the best car, but I don't care. Love it. That's it.
You know what? Everybody's got a soft spot in their heart for those hot hatches, right? Like for me, I don't know if you guys got this over in the UK, but in 89 to 1991, Suzuki made a Swift GTI, and
I know we have Suzuki Swifts, but I don't know if we had that older version.
yeah. So again, what are you guys, like in your early 20s?
I was going to say, born in 88, so
All right.
driving at that age, I'm afraid.
So this thing was like 100 horsepower hot hatch, and I remember this one turn, you could make a left going, you know, right around this wide bend, and I would just gun it and I just throw the wheel around hard. And one time it went around so hard, the suspension actually broke, and it just made a loud clunk. And I brought it to the shop. It had about 100,000 miles on it and about 10 years on it, so it was a little bit rusted. I brought it in the shop and I go, it's broken, can you fix it? And he looks at it and he goes, yeah, we can't. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He goes, it's just done. I go, what do you mean it's just done? This is my car. I'm like, I need it. He goes, yeah, it's corroded and all the suspension points broke, so you're going to have to throw it in the garbage. But yeah, like everybody's got like a hot hatch story, right? Like you guys love those too, right?
That's because that's what you kind of start with, isn't it? Like that's how you get into fast cars, is through hot hatches and things. Like nobody tends to just go out and buy a supercar straight away. It's like you're building up. And hot hatch is kind of the first stage from going from just a normal car to something that's a bit faster and a bit more fun.
Yes. So talk to me about the premise of your YouTube channel. You know, in one of the videos, like you mentioned that you wanted to talk about real, honest videos to show what it takes to get a supercar, to get into a nice car. Because the title of your channel is Dedication Blog, so you're dedicated to what you do. Talk about that a little bit.
But I mean, we were saying about this. We don't feel like we've kind of lived up to that too well. Like the way we wanted to do the channel originally was like kind of showing, like we kind of wish we started it a bit earlier and showing like sort of lead up to the getting the supercar more. Whereas we only really started it just before I bought the R8, so it's kind of already there. But like with the original idea, I think was to kind of show a bit of the work and stuff and like show.
So I went into it.
Yeah, like show. But then in reality, like it's quite hard to just film you doing some work. It gets a bit boring. Like people don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
You've not got a supercar at that point.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. So like we kind of drifted more into doing car videos with the like occasional business sort of advice and stuff. Just things we've learned along the way. But we were saying, we wanted it to be more just like you said, transparent and just honest and like down to earth. Just like if I go buy a new car, we don't just here's a video of the new car. It's like we'll show us going to test drive it, talking about the idea behind buying it, like picking it up, first impressions, and like really honest first impressions.
Yeah, and sometimes it don't work out in our favour, but it's just like as soon as we leave the dealership, just take the camera rolling, and it's like it's how we feel at that time. Later on you can look back at it and people say, oh, why did you say that? Why did you say this? But
the BMW video.
The M4 video, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that video. We test drove a BMW M4 and we both had a go in it.
Yeah.
And we kind of came out with the same impressions that it wasn't that amazing. Like compared to the E92 M3, it doesn't advance the game enough to warrant like that £70,000 price tag.
Really?
And we weren't too keen on it. And a few other professional reviews have said the same, but then a few other professional reviews have been really keen on it. And so all the comments we got on that video are just hating on us. You guys don't know anything about cars, you're idiots.
Which is true, we don't. But that's the point of it.
The point of it was just us being honest, just two normal guys going to test drive a car, giving our opinions on it.
So talk to me about the growth of your channel. I've had mine up since June of last summer, so 2014. And when I first put out my YouTube channel, I thought, all right, I'll go and get some friends that are entrepreneurs and put them in the car, and I'll drive it, and we'll make a video, and everybody will watch it, and everything will be fun. And you'd upload it and be like, no views. An hour later, no views. So you guys have been fortunate where you've built this channel, and I'm starting to get the knack for it now. But you've built this channel with over, I think it's over 1 million views now, and about 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah, about.
So what's the secret sauce to growing a YouTube channel, in your experience?
Buy an R8.
Buy an R8. Just keyword tag R8, R8, and just make sure it's found.
I posted a few videos early on, like say the Seat and the Hyundai, and the people watched it, and people will find it. And then
we got a couple of thousand views maybe.
After the M3, it sort of picked up, and then with the R8, it just went up.
That was when people started to find it. And I mean, we've always had this kind of philosophy, if you like, of not doing like clickbait titles, not being like, not just trying to draw people in and then disappoint them.
Yeah.
We always want the title to be descriptive of what the video is. But that's worse for getting your channel out there. If you put something like Audi R8 brutal acceleration past police, you're going to get a lot more views, but then you're going to get a lot more hate.
Right.
We don't want that kind of thing. So we've tried to make it as transparent and honest as possible. But we put that one video up of me explaining what I do for a living. And originally we titled that as something like
25-year-old.
Yeah, like how I can afford an Audi R8 at 25.
Yeah.
Right, which is exactly what the video is. So it's not kind of too clickbaity and fake or anything. But we kind of felt it was a little bit kind of, it's just asking for views kind of thing. But we left it like that, and that video I think got a lot of people to the channel because it comes up in like related videos for a lot of other people, because that's by far the most viewed video.
250,000 views or something.
Yeah.
Like an anomaly compared to the rest of the
Yeah. So I think that's how a lot of people have found the channel. But also I used to, and this is the same sort of strategy I used for marketing my software, is I would, when we first started the channel, and when I got the R8, we didn't, like you say, you upload a video and we didn't get that many views. So I would go on, say, like Shmee150's channel, and there would be, without a doubt, on every video, there would be a comment saying, Shmee, what do you do for a living? And it would have loads of upvotes, because everyone wants to know, how can you afford this Audi R8? Because he had an R8 at the time.
Right.
We'd never answer, okay, or at least I never saw him answer. And it would always get loads of upvotes, so it would be like the first comment you saw. So I would always go, well, not always, but I would occasionally go on there and reply and say, well, look, I know Shmee hasn't answered, but on our channel, I've got an R8, and I've explained what I do for a living, so if you're interested, check it out. And I think that kind of, because I'm just answering someone's question. Somebody said, you've got an R8, what do you do for a living? And I've gone, well, I've got an R8, here's what I do for a living. It's not kind of a spammy advertising. It's not like, hey guys, check out our channel, like you see on YouTube and Insta and stuff all the time, just people begging for subscriptions and stuff. It's not like that. It's just it's naturally answering somebody's question and giving them what they've asked for. So I think that kind of sort of advertising is a lot better than just spamming all over the place. And I would only do that maybe once or twice a week or something on a few videos for the first couple of months, and that helps grow the subscriber base.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought about that, but it's quite clever. I mean, you want to engage the conversation in the audience, and then all you're doing is saying, here's how I did it.
Exactly. Yeah, they've asked the question, you're giving them an answer. You're not sat there going, oh, please come and check out my channel.
Yeah.
It seems very even though essentially that's what you're doing. You're saying, look at my video. But it's a very natural way of doing it.
So let's talk about the haters then too, because that's one of the things that happens naturally when you put yourself out there. I mean, the thing that I've noticed in my own personal business, and I'm okay being clear about what I do. I have a debt negotiation company in Canada, and we do everything online. So if you look up my name, then you'll find it. So there's always people that come along and they'll just try to discredit you. They'll thrash you. They'll just do whatever they can to fling mud at you. And the best strategy that I've seen so far was something that I read from a blogger, James Altucher, that put out, and he's basically saying when these haters come out, they're like pigs. They want you to get in the mud, and they get happy when you start to engage them. So all you do is you just ignore them, right? So what's your strategy to deal with the haters?
I think I take it too personally. When we get comments on YouTube and stuff, it's someone just insulting you or whatever. I'm still in the stage where I'll argue with them, and I know I shouldn't. I know I should just ignore them, but I can't help wanting to defend myself. When someone, because a lot of time we'll get stuff like, "Oh, you're making all this up. You're fake. Your dad just gave you a lot of money," and it's so annoying because it's so opposite to the truth. It's like my parents were never wealthy at all, or they were a little bit before they had children and stuff. But growing up, I never had any extra money from my parents, anything like that. very normal upbringing, and I've kind of earned all this myself, like from scratch. So it's very annoying, like when somebody comes along and says, "No, you're just making it all up." Yeah. So I can't help but just want to reply, and yeah, some of the haters that we get, I don't know, we don't get that much, do we? Like
no, yeah, compared to some of the others, and I think, like you say, it just links to not trying to get the videos out there too much.
Exactly.
Like letting people sort of drift on their own way, and
because if somebody finds the videos naturally, then they probably wanted to watch those kind of videos. Where if you're making these clickbait titles, then everyone's going to find them. Yeah, you're going to get more views, get a little bit more money from YouTube, but to us it's not worth the amount of hate that you get and the amount of people that just take a dislike to you. We would rather have like 10,000 subscribers that are all genuinely interested in the channel and like us than 50,000 subscribers, but you're also getting tons of people that hate you and make up shit about you.
But it's also comments is in the M4 video I said about how I'd rather spend the 70,000 on a second-hand Ferrari 430 than the M4, and someone commented saying that some of them has kids, we need the boot, we need the space, do you know what I mean, to use it? And I said yeah I get it now, do you know what I mean? So there is a good interaction that way.
Yeah, sometimes people it'll seem like they're just being a sort of hater, but then if you actually reply to them, then they'll be like, oh well, that explains. But sometimes it's just kids that just want to wind you up and say yeah. No, but I think ignoring them is the best strategy, but it's easier said than done, I think.
Let's talk about entrepreneurship, because this is my big passion. I mean, you've probably seen the trailer, but for those that haven't seen it on my channel, the concept behind Entrepreneurs in Cars was I thought about a time that I really was passionate about something, because you're not always passionate about your day job. I'm guessing software is not always a ton of fun. For me, getting people out of debt isn't always a ton of fun.
Yeah.
And I love hanging out with entrepreneurs. I find them brilliant. I find them batshit crazy like me. So it's like you have to find your tribe, right? So I thought, well, entrepreneurs in cars. Not super original, but hey, you know what? I got the domain for it. It was available. I got the channel for it, so whatever. But I want to talk to you about entrepreneurship, because one of the things that you talked off about, Chris, in your most popular video about what you do for a living, was it took you 3 years to quit your job to go and do the software stuff full time. And I haven't had a lot of engagement on my channel, but some of the stuff that comes up regularly now that I see either in private messages or in the notes is somebody will say, well, what does it take, or what do you have to do to kind of get off this pattern of going to the day job to go start that business that you think that will be successful, that you want to grow? So you procrastinated for 3 full years almost, it sounded like. What mind shifts or changing thinking for you made you just say, right, I'm just going to quit my job and I'm going to focus on this full time?
I think primarily the reason I didn't just quit straight away and think, right, I'm going to start a software business was just income. When I started it, I was making maybe £100-200 a month at most, for the first few months. So obviously you're not going to quit your job based on that. And the good thing about software is, or any kind of digital service, is that you make it, you spend the time making it in your own spare time or whatever, around your job, and then you put it up for sale, and then you don't have to do anything more. It's all automated from there, at least with the way I set it up is. So I can be making money from it, even though I'm not doing any more work on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so
people can be buying the program.
Yeah, so is this like a true passive income business for you?
Yeah, I could literally do no work for a month and still make just as much money as if I was working on a month, because the programming that I'm doing in that month doesn't make me any money. It's only once it's finished and it's on sale, then it starts making money. So I'm still making money from all the previous programs that I've released. Yeah, so all the time, even from the start, it's been like a passive income, like you say. And then, it started to release a few more programs, and it started to build up a bit more. And then about 2 years in, and 1.5 years in, I started to make roughly the same amount from the software each month as I was making from my day job. And that's when I started to sort of consider, I could quit my day job. Yeah. But the problem is, by that point, you've got used to having double the income. So I was like, if I quit my day job now, that's £26,000 a year salary just gone. And I'm like, I don't know if I can handle then just dropping half my income. I know in reality I'm back to what I was making before I started the software, but you've got used to it.
So
a year.
So let me show you this chart, because there's this thing in business that's called the hockey stick. Sorry, the hockey stick curve, which looks something like, if it'll focus, that. Yeah.
Yeah, slow.
So for many guys, it's at that point right there that the business will take off. So was that the point where you actually quit your job and then threw all your time and resources at it full time that it started to grow?
No, it was more. There was one particular program I released that sort of helped, got things a lot more, sort of made things progress faster.
Yeah.
I was still selling all the other programs, but this one sold a bit better, and more people heard about this one. And yeah, so that was while I was still doing my day job, and it was probably a year after that before I quit. So it started to pick up quite a bit more. But I think the thing was I never wanted to do programming full time because I picked it up as a hobby. I enjoyed it. I wanted to just make programs that I wanted to make, and not feel too much pressure to make them. And I kind of didn't want to start a full-time job and be like, oh, now I've got to spend all day, every day programming. Yeah. So I guess that was kind of holding me back a bit. And I enjoyed the IT. My day job was an IT administrator. I really enjoyed that. I still do find all that interesting. So I wanted to kind of stay doing that. I liked the people I was working with, blah, blah, blah. I didn't have any real reason to quit. But then it kind of got to the point where, I need to spend more time on the software. I'm not giving the customers, enough support and enough, quick enough responses. Because I'm at the day job all day. So I can't be working on programs and responding to their queries and stuff. So it kind of got to that point, yeah. And there was a few personal things as well that made me want to quit my job. And it kind of all just got to a point where, yeah, it's like, there's all these personal reasons to quit. I'm making plenty of money from the software. I don't need the day job. So, let's just do it. And you were actually a bit of an inspiration for that because you've been self-employed the whole time.
Yeah.
And I remember we were like, there was something we were going to go and do. And I was like, I don't know if I can get the time off work. It's going to be a pain. And you were like, well, I'm fine. I'll work my own hours.
Well, that's the thing about entrepreneurship. You're supposed to have the freedom of time and money, yeah?
Yeah, so you work your own hours and you can work around. Like, if you want to go-karting or whatever for an hour, it doesn't matter. You can fit that hour into your work afterwards. Whereas if you're a 9-to-5 job, you can't just be like, I'm just going out for an hour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that really appealed to me. I was like, you know what? I'm making enough money. I want that freedom. I want to be able to manage my own time and do what I want when I want. So I just thought, yeah, I'm just going to go for it. And it was a bit of a bold move. I'd been thinking about it, but then it just got to a point. I was like, right, I'm just going to quit my job. Just sent an email to my boss, and I was just like, yeah, I've quit.
So to kind of distill that story for people watching, because they want to know what you got to do to get off the day job and start your business. You just have to do it. You just have to have the gumption to do it, right?
I guess, but we've said about this before, haven't we? I wouldn't advise people to just be like, yeah, I'm just going to quit, let's go start my job. I would say, if possible, I know it's not possible with every self-employed job, but build it up while you've still got your income and your safety of your normal job. Yeah. Don't just quit and with nothing. Like I say, it took about 2 years for me to be making a decent amount of money from the software business. I'm glad I didn't just quit at first and then just start on software, because it might not have gone as well as it did. Yeah. So I would say keep the safety net of a daytime job, build something up, start making contacts, start making your product if you can in your spare time. It's hard work when you're doing a 9-to-5 job and trying to build a business. Definitely it's hard work. And that was where the whole dedication thing kind of came from. Was getting home from work and then starting more work until 2 o'clock in the morning. That took dedication. So that was kind of the hard bit. But I would rather do it that way than just quit your job, have no reliable income. Because then the problem is you're forcing it. Then you're trying to be like, I need to get money as soon as possible because I've got bills to pay, I've got stuff to do.
Well, that's how I started. I've only ever had one job, and I got 5. And I had 200 quid in my bank, and I saw a video online of someone doing car detailing, and I just thought, yeah, I could do that, and then spend the 200 on car cleaning stuff, and that was it. And see, then I was forced to just make it work then. Because I had nothing to fall back on. I was going through college at the time, and I was sort of had to. So that was sort of.
That's good. I suppose there's pros and cons.
Yeah,
because it's good because it's forcing you to do it. You're not going to rely on your own motivation. You've got to do it because you need the money. So I guess there's a good side to that. But if it doesn't work out, then it's pretty bad.
Which I wouldn't quit your job to force yourself into that position. No. If you're in that position, then use it to your advantage. But if you're not, then don't automatically put yourself in that position.
Exactly.
Yeah. So my story is a lot similar to yours, Simon, because I got fired. They gave me a package. I was sent home. And then in the first year, I built $1 million business with a partner, and I left, and he bought me out.
You're making me look bad.
What's your $1 million business?
Well, I don't know what your story is. You've been a fly on the wall there. Tell me what's going on with your business. You're an entrepreneur. You've obviously been working at something. What was your motivation to go and do it, and how's that going?
My biggest problem with what I was doing, especially with car cleaning, is your income is linked to how many hours you can work.
Yeah.
And especially on your own, you can start employing people and it gets messy. So on your own, and a lot of stuff I've done has been linked to my time. So it becomes a limit to how much you can earn with your time. It's only sort of in the last 2 years that I've sort of realised that, understood the mistake and trying to correct it, trying to move on towards, a semi-passive income sort of business. Really linked. Check out. I mean, I don't know if we put this on our channel, then check out Richard as well, Entrepreneurs in Cars on YouTube. And
no, because we were saying like we're a big fan of what you're doing because that's very similar to what we started out trying to do. Yeah. And I think you're doing it
a bit better
than we did. Yeah, you've stuck to it, whereas we just drifted off into just cars, and we've kind of neglected the business stuff a bit. Yeah. But kind of for the reason that we've said that we're not quite sure exactly how we can do the business stuff and make it interesting. Yeah. But I think you're going about the right ways. Finding people who've been successful, they've got the nice cars, so that's obviously drawing people in as well. And then finding out how they've done it and their stories. I think that's a good way to do it.
So actually, before we sign off, just one more question. So a lot of people think that entrepreneurs are in some cases superheroes, or they possess superpowers. So they don't understand that we're people. We don't sleep at night. We struggle. We cry. We cut ourselves. We bleed. But there's always struggles in business and life, right? So talk to me about one of the biggest challenges in your own businesses, both of you, that you've overcame.
I'll let you start. I'm trying to think of like the...
Yeah, I think it's a lot of small failures that sort of add up, especially with the car cleaning stuff. I started cleaning cars and I set up an online store selling the products. And it's probably one of the biggest investments I've ever done in business. Sunk a load of money in the website, buying the products, getting it all set up, and it just didn't work. For whatever reason. And sort of learning from stuff like that, and so in the future, maybe you can do something with it. You've got to sort of learn. I think that's the biggest thing you can take from business is to not be afraid of failing and just to learn from it. Cry for a couple of days, get out of your system, whatever. But and then sift through the rubble and try and figure out what you can find and what you can work with.
That's the thing. It's always going to be really disappointing. Isn't it? Like I don't know if you class it as a failure or what, but like I've spent months writing programs before, thinking this one's going to be really successful, like the last one was, and then just hardly anyone buys it. Like it's not so bad because I've not sunk that much money into it. It's more just my time, but it's not quite as bad. But it's still still a bit depressing when I thought I think I was going to do really well. It's
at that point you have to admit it to yourself because you don't want to admit you're a failure. No. So it's when that realisation. It's never as hard as quitting your job. It's to say, look, I failed at this. Just get on with it.
That's the thing. I think a lot of people, especially when they start their own business, they want to just keep ploughing on, And you've had businesses before with other people where like you just carry on, even though it's not really working out. And you look back and think, well, I should have just given up on that.
Wasted 6 months.
You should have just given up on that sooner. Yeah. But in terms of like the hardest thing to overcome, for me personally, I think for me, ironically, just staying motivated is like once you've got decent income coming in, and especially with, like I said, mine's passive, like it's not directly tied to how much work I'm doing at the time, is keeping that motivation to keep working. Because I don't particularly want a little more money now. Like I'm happy with what I'm doing, like financially, got the cars that I want. Like it's keeping that motivation to keep improving and keep going, keep doing things better. And that's hard. Like if there's not something that you're working towards, like a new car or whatever, like. I kind of, the main motivation for me now is just purely to help other IT people rather than, which is the reason I started it in the first place. I didn't, it's kind of going back to that, which is nice in a way, to have that financial cushion and be able to just do it because you want to do it. Yeah. I think that's but it does make it harder to stay motivated.
All right, so there you have it, guys. So as far as YouTube channels growing your audience, buy a supercar. Don't. And when it comes to business, just don't give up. I mean, you're going to get hit in the stomach. It's not always going to work out. You're going to have sleepless nights. It's just a matter, it's just a fact of life. The risk is there, but the reward is also there as well. So just go do it.
I think as well, the key thing, just before, like you said about like people think entrepreneurs are superheroes or whatever. I think the very important thing is that we're all just normal people. Like if we can do it, if I can do it, anyone can. Yeah. Like I'm not like some super intelligent person. I wasn't from a wealthy family. Like anyone can do it. If you find something that you're good at, find a way to make money from it. Keep going and advertise it properly. Do it all properly. You can do it. Like it's people think, oh, it's never going to happen to me. But like, there's no reason why not. If you come up with a good idea.
Some of the most brilliant and successful entrepreneurs that I know didn't even go to a post-secondary education. I finished high school. That was it. I was done. I had no interest in college, university.
Yeah, left school at 16, didn't go to college or anything, just went and got an apprenticeship in IT, getting paid £40 a week. Yeah. And then from there.
That's it. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Again, I want to be respectful of it and wrap up. Thank you.
Cheers.
See you guys.